Welcome to the Women and Money Empowerment Show. My name is Yulin Lee, and I am your host. In these episodes, you will hear my heart-to-heart conversations with women from all walks of life, sharing their wisdom and their journey to success. I hope through these stories, you will find inspirations and affirmation that ordinary people like you and me, we can achieve extraordinary results and live an extraordinary life. Now, let's dive into today's show. Well, welcome, Rathna. Thank you so much for joining me today. Before we dive into the content today, I just want to say how much I adore you.
Thank you.
Not only because you are such a fun person to be with, but you know what you have done for yourself in terms of creating an incredible journey, growing yourself, growing your business. And it all started with you becoming a mom and your kids were young and you were looking for something to do as kind of a side career for yourself while you're caring for your child and for your kids. And that's the reason I wanted to bring you here, because I think it's a story that all of us can relate to, right? Most of us moms, and we all had to make some kind of decision when the kids were younger, and kind of the balancing act between being there for your kids, taking care of them, but then also not completely letting go of, who we are, both professionally and personally. So I think you have an extraordinary story of what you've done for yourself and your family. And again, with the theme of this show, that ordinary people can have extraordinary results and then live extraordinary life. And you are like a typical when I say that, you're someone I think of in that sense. So
thank you.
Yeah. So thank you. And so maybe I'll just have you to give a quick introduction of your multi-business owner. So maybe give an introduction of the couple of the businesses that you've built over the years.
Yeah. So I've been an entrepreneur for going into 10 years now. So my name is Rathna Ramakrishnan. I started my first business when my firstborn started kindergarten, because I went into the classic mommy moment of what? Children grow up and they go away, like they don't need me anymore. And so that's what set me down the path of what was I going to do with my time. I'd been a stay-at-home mom at that point in time for 5 years. And it wasn't that I still had my 2-year-old who was hanging off my legs after I dropped off my firstborn at kindergarten. So I still had my little one, but suddenly there was a little bit more time, and I had the choice to either just go call my old boss and go back to work. And just the thought of putting my little one in a daycare and not being there for the pickups, I was like, okay, I don't want to do this. This is not why I decided to become a mother. So I looked at some franchises, and it just didn't sit well with me that I had to, open up $40,000 of my personal money to go buy a franchise, and I didn't have $40,000 just lying around. So after I did a little bit of analysis on the franchises, I said, you know what, I can come up with a business idea. And through my research, I figured out that I wanted to do something in the children's education line. And so I started my first business in 2013. And because I'm a mom to 2 boys, I play with them with Legos. So I looked around and I said, I want to start a Lego summer camp. And that's how I set up my first business, which is called BrainVyne Lego and Money Camps. In 2017, I incorporated a financial literacy curriculum as well. And so I've been in business for, offered programs for 9 seasons in 25 cities throughout the Bay Area, employ about 50 to 60 teachers every summer. And so that was my first play into entrepreneurship. Went and set up my LLC. I partnered with several parks and rec throughout the Bay Area, different cities. My first contract was with the city of Palo Alto. Now I have an office at Kabali Community Center where when I started my business, I ran it out of my garage. And then in 2017, again, I bid for space and I got a government contract with the city of Palo Alto, and I have a classroom now. So all my supplies are in there, my garage is reclaimed for my family. So when we went into shelter in place, the education business came to a standstill because people were not, we didn't understand anything about COVID, and nobody wanted to send your kids, of all the people, anywhere. So the program came to a standstill, and I still had bills to pay and, financial responsibilities for my business. So the first thing I did was I took a lot of the curriculum and I reviewed it to see what I could run as online camps. So I ran some online camps in 2020 to just pay for the bills, but it also opened up my brain bandwidth to think about other things that I'd wanted to do. And one of the things that I have learned from running a children's business is that to turn on the bulbs of little kids that come to your programs. And my favorite thing about running an education business is being able to employ teachers. The concept of like helping teachers in the summer earn a wage and live in this expensive part of California, where unfortunately they still need to work in the summers, is one of my favorite things. In any case, when I look at the education business, the thing that's really challenging in running a kid business, it's very operations intense. There's supplies, there's teachers, there's happy parents, there's angry parents, there's kids with allergies, there's Lego pieces that get lost, kids that get upset over a minifigure that they lost. And so it's very operations intense. And the more I think about how I'll scale it, it becomes more complex to kind of have that quality just be replicated into San Diego or Portland or take it to Australia. And if I were to grow it, I'm going to own more Lego, more teachers, more collateral. So when I look at my life, that's not what I wish for. One of my favorite things to do, or I always ask myself, why do I want to earn money? And it's because I want to travel. I want to see the world. It's something that it's very important to me. And so when I look at my education business, I'm bound by the collateral. I'm bound by all of the fun as well as the complexities that come with the children's education business. And so when we went into shelter in place, I had the time to really reflect on, was I happy with the education business? What do I want to do as I'm growing older? And I want to have an online business. I basically want to be able to live and work anywhere in the world, have a team. And so I said, okay, I want a laptop lifestyle. What can I do? And so I've scaled my education business by just being hyper-focused on internet marketing, right? Being found online, how the website is built, SEO, just things that I taught myself. And that's how I was able to scale it into the different cities in the Bay Area. And I always meet other business owners and they say, oh, how did you do it? Like, how did you grow your business? And I think the more I think about it, it was because of being very hyper-focused on internet marketing, because everybody has a phone today. We're all familiar with Google search. And so what I did is I said, okay, I want to start a digital marketing agency to help other business owners. So I just wrote an email to SCORE. I don't know if you're familiar with SCORE. It's an organization that helps new entrepreneurs. And I told them I want to teach workshops now that we're in lockdown. I have some ideas. I'd love to be able to volunteer my time. And they were really eager because they always have a workshop series, but they said, sure, what do you have? And so I sent them a few things. And I just went and I think in 2020, I taught about 15 workshops through SCORE. And initially there were like 55 people that would come. And then, we all went through the Zoom boredom and stuff. So I really went in thinking I wanted to share as much knowledge and see where small business owners' pain points are. But going into like workshop 2 or 3, people wanted to hire me. And I was like, okay, this is great because my story really resonates with business owners because I am not just another digital marketer. I've run the Google ads. I've run $1 a day Facebook ads, right? I've done it all. So I know what it takes to like really get those high quality leads online. So I said, okay, sure, I can help you. So I just took on 17 clients in 2021. And they were a local beauty salon, a Menlo Park dermatologist, a HVAC contractor, just you name it, people that came to the workshops that were drawn to me, the energy clicked and I was able to help them. I didn't have any packages, no pricing, nothing. I didn't know anything, how to build an online business. But I knew that I could help them. And so I went in and it was more a test of my own skills. And so I took them on, and then quickly I realized it was complete chaos to have 17 different clients and trying to serve them. And in 2021, I also ran my education business because, the vaccines had come. And so I was, wearing two hats. And this year in 2022, I realized that the digital marketing agency really has a potential, but I need to really fine tune what I want to do long term if I want to exit my education business. So I named my niche agency Remodeler Digital, and I exclusively serve general contractors and kitchen and bathroom remodelers. And why did I choose that niche? I have no background in general contracting or remodeling. I have remodeled my home. But when I went and I looked at those 17 clients, the results that I was able to generate were just marvelous for general contractors and remodelers from Google search. So I made a case study, I put it out, and now I have 5 niche clients. And so that is my immediate goal, is to really scale that agency. And through the process of all of this lead generation, I've worked with a variety of software. And so I've taken one of the software that works really well. If you're familiar with ClickFunnels and Kajabi and all of those tools, this is all of those on steroids. And so it's backed by this amazing team of developers. And so I've actually set up a third entity called Leads Pipeline. And basically, it can help any business owner. You come in, you add your website to it, you have text marketing, email marketing, you can grow your list. And so that is a small piece that has come out of this entire process of internet marketing. So it's more a product. So far I've only been engaged in services. And so this is more a SaaS product that it's the tip of an iceberg sitting right there where I can just take it and grow it. And again, I've never developed a SaaS product and scaled it. And so those are some of my immediate things that I want to do in terms of my time as I age as an entrepreneur, from learning all of the skills that I have. So I have BrainVyne, which it's very dear to me. Just worked really hard to grow it. I have Remodeler Digital, which is about a year old. And then I have the Leads Pipeline, which is a baby that I still need to wrap my head around how I'm going to grow it. So my long-term goal is to exit BrainVyne, keep Remodeler Digital, and eventually perhaps not even have a service-based business, have just a subscription-based, product-based business like Russell Brunson, who runs ClickFunnels. So, and just maybe live on the beaches in Bali. And
yeah, well, I mean, everything that you've said, there's so much in that 10 years that you have done. And if I just listen to you and, immediately in my mind, like what would be my takeaways, learning from your experience, is that what I noticed is you actually never stopped. You're always taking actions. Okay. And even if you don't know anything, you go into a new field, or like you said, you don't have any background in the remodeling field, but that doesn't stop you to provide business and online, digital advertising service to those people in that field. And I think that is so crucial to actually achieving extraordinary results, because it's not a one-step process. It's taking small actions and then you build on it, which is exactly what you have done. And so it is so incredible. So yeah, I mean, like, okay, there's so much you've shared, and I think everything you shared, I could, go deep and say, okay, how did you exactly do that? Mm-hmm. But so if I were to go back, and again, for our audience who maybe also a mom thinking about, what do I do with myself, with my time? I have a couple of, young children. How do I get started? Mm-hmm. And can you go into a little bit of detail about how you actually got started? And then, with your BrainVyne, what was the most difficult piece for you to say, get through that, to keep going? Because I think for all owners, at times we hit walls, and and then that may lead us to doubt about whether we're doing the right thing, or am I really good for that, or whatever. So what would be like your challenges in that journey, just to help other people to understand, like all of us,
for sure. So I think we're all, ideas are a dime a dozen, easy to come up with. And so as a mom, when you have that moment to say that you want to work for yourself and you come up with an idea and you sit down and you say you write down those 15 ideas, or perhaps you have a very special skill that can really serve, thousands of people, then the thing is, the most common thing that I've seen, having been an entrepreneur for close to a decade, I meet so many other moms who always invite me out to coffee, and they're like, "Can I pick your brain?" Absolutely. I love speaking to moms that want to think about an idea. I love speaking to entrepreneurs that are still trying to figure out how to scale their business. And the one thing that I, like you mentioned, is, choose one thing, take action, and try it for a year. Right, that's what I told myself, because it's very easy to feel dejected when you're working by yourself. You have to pack the lunches, you have to do the soccer trips, and life is just so busy that if you tell yourself, well, this is not working out, I should just do something else, you'll never know the potential of that one idea that you have in the box. So one of the things I told myself is, I'm going to give everything a try for at least a year. And I made mistakes, and then I changed it up. So one of the hardest things that I faced when I started BrainVyne was, I just pulled a one-page Wix website. I went to 99 Designs and I got myself a logo. I just put up this facade of a website, and then I wrote to the different parks and rec, and I said, "Hey, I'm a local mom. I have a really fun summer camp idea. Would you be interested?" I don't know. Maybe I sent like 25, 30 emails. And in about 2 weeks later, the city of Palo Alto's Parks and Rec director said, "Oh, this is perfect timing. We're just adding to our pool of vendors. Why don't you come in and show us some of your projects?" Projects, like I didn't have anything. I went into my kids' room, pulled up some Lego, created some creations, and then put together a brochure of what I thought the potential of the business could be. And I went in, and it was competitive. There were 4 other companies that had come in, but I think it paid off that I live in this city and that I'm a local mom. And sometimes you just have that vibe with another human. And I think I hit it off with the director at Palo Alto. And so my first contract was $50,000 with the city of Palo Alto. And all that I had was an idea, just this burning desire to be an entrepreneur. I had a one-page website. I had nothing else in place, and I had 6 months from since I got that contract to really deliver. So I had to go find a Lego designer, because I was not comfortable with just opening up a box of Lego and putting it in front of the kids. I really wanted a curriculum that was copyrighted, exclusive, fun, different than anything that a child could go to a Target or an Amazon. And so I advertised. I found a Lego master builder. There's about, I think, now 15 of them in the world. And so Daniel Benedettelli, that I worked with, he's an Italian math teacher, and then he designed my entire curriculum. Hours and hours of working with an Italian on his time. I would wake up early when the kids were sleeping, and so that's how I built out my curriculum. And then the scary part hits you, where you're like, okay, there's going to be more than 100 children that are going to come to the program. So then I can't just do it. Like, I need a team. So rapidly I had to figure out, like, how do you hire? How do you train? And so the first year was very hard, and it was very daunting in terms of, I had this contract, which was good in a certain way, because I was literally thrown under the bus and I had to deliver. But I was very motivated to do it right and do it well. And then after that, all of the pieces fell into place for me, right? That was the only year I actually worked in the camps to come up with my operations manual, to how to train my teachers. And then after that, when I looked at it, I said, oh, well, if I can do this in Palo Alto, I can do it in Los Altos, I can do it in Menlo Park. Why not Redwood City? Why not cross the bay and go to Fremont? Now it's just a matter of getting the supplies over there. So had I just shied away and said, this is too hard, like I don't know if I can do this. And I also read the E-Myth when I decided to become an entrepreneur. And one of the things that the E-Myth talks about is all of these processes, documenting SOPs, standard operating procedures and things that you need to have if you ever really want to remove yourself from a business and exit. But one of the things that it also talked about was that how women are not successful as business owners, and how so few women are really able to hit 6 figures in revenue. And that kind of just stuck in my head. I was like, what? Come on, challenge on. I can do it. And so when I got the $50,000 contract, I was like, I'm halfway there. right? So come on, e-myth, I'm going to debunk you.
Mhm.
So so the point is you have to come up with all of the self-motivating tactics.
Mhm.
Nobody is there telling you you got to hit six figures. Nobody is telling you you did well in Palo Alto, you could go and grow it in other cities, right? So that consistency, right? So success is basically just waking up and consistently doing the things because you've decided that this is how you're going to spend your time. And so for me, when I said, when my kids are in school, if I'm going to run my business, I have to be lucrative, right? It has to be a revenue producing model because there's no point in having hobbies. And so that's one of the things everybody needs to ask yourself, right? If it helps you to help other people, volunteerism, hobbies help you, then it gives you happiness, you should do it. But for me, I function really well when I'm gainfully spending my time, right? So, and I think the pandemic has also given me some perspective on, I'm not very interested in growing the business very big. It's given me better clarity as to how I want choose to spend my time and so forth. So if you're starting a business, really ask yourself, why are you doing this? What do you want to get out of it? If you want to go, come up with an idea that will help a few people and, make $10,000 and you're going to be happy, that's fine. So just set yourself some goals. And so one of my desires now is to get to $1 million in revenue, right? It's a personal challenge that I have for myself. And you learn along the way. When you hit $250,000, you learn something. When you hit $750,000 is, as much as making money is fun, making a lot of money can sometimes be boring because repetitive things that you have to do. You have to run payroll for more employees. You need more people trained. And so, and then you need to build a team, right? So as much as you can have these financial goals, you need to ask yourself, does that really make you happy? Right? Does it light your fire to want to do those things? And I think if you're able to get clarity on what drives you as an entrepreneur
Mhm.
and find that, and like I said, consistently every day wake up and say, what are the revenue producing activities I'm going to do today? Make a list of three things, tackle it, and get help, right? Because in 2014, I hired my first virtual assistant,
Mhm.
this brilliant guy based in the Philippines, and I couldn't have done all that I did without him. And it's scary, like when you're trying to start and you have somebody else that's relying on you for a salary, 20 hours, 40 hours, whatever you commit to. The beauty of virtual assistants these days is that, you can pay them less than market rate in the US. And they're just very qualified, very intelligent humans that you can really add as part of your team. So get help, right? As don't be scared of paying a salary, because the moment you have one more person and your time opens up, you're going to be able to do more. So quickly outsource the things that you're not skilled at, because we could all build a website, we could all manage our social media accounts, how many things can you do? So get some help, stick to that idea for a year, see where it goes, and as you go through it, you'll realize that you don't like doing some things, because ultimately working for yourself is to be happy, because you're choosing that, so you don't have a boss. You don't need to like wake up and like answer somebody else's email to a meeting, or those are the things that come with corporate America. So give it a year, see what works, do more of what works, and then just delete the things that don't work.
Wow, thank you. Thank you. So I hear loud and clear, um, have clarity of why you're doing what you're doing, right? And then be very consistent in taking actions. Because I think a lot of times I do see a general pattern, and sometimes I'm guilty of that as well, is that this thought of I need to learn more before I can do something else. So we
Mhm.
end up spending a lot of money learning and getting coaches, and not to say that we shouldn't do that, but
Yep.
sometimes we actually use that as an excuse for lack of actions.
Yep.
And I know I've done that myself as well, and that's a
It's
very
easy.
common, yeah, it's a very common pattern that we fall into as a small business owner. Like you said, no
Yeah.
one's looking over your shoulder.
Yeah.
So it's all about the self, the inner drivenness that comes from, what makes you happy. So thank you so much. I mean, I think you've like I say, you're a total exemplified the whole concept of, anyone like us, from all walks of life, and neither of us, come from, we're born in a silver spoon and come with money, but it doesn't matter where you are, you can achieve extraordinary results and live an extraordinary life if you actually put your focus into it. So thank you so much for sharing your journey. I really appreciate it. Any last parting words? Where can people find you if they want to learn more about you, or if they want to use your service for digital marketing, or even, sign their kids up for your, your Lego camps?
You can, Rathna at BrainVyne.com is my oldest business, my oldest email address. I'm just used to checking it all the time. So if you wanted to reach me, it would be best to just write to me there at Rathna at BrainVyne.com. And if you're a business owner that just wants to bounce off some ideas, or I love speaking to other idea owners, business owners, to just kind of brainstorm. And the local high schools, their quote is something that sticks in my head. It says, "Progress over perfection."
Yeah.
Which is the Palo Alto High Schools. It's on all of the kids' t-shirts, and I see them around town. And that's what I tell myself every day. It's okay if it's not perfect. Just get it done. Right. Just baby steps.
Just get it done. That is so good. Thank you. Thank you so much. Well, thank you again for joining me today.
Cool. My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you. Mm-hmm. Thank you for tuning in to the Women and Money Empowerment Show. If you ever have doubtful moments about yourself, your capability, or your worthiness, please remember to keep coming back to these stories and lean in. Draw the wisdom and strength from these incredible women, and know that you also have what it takes to live a fulfilling life. Until next time, have a fabulous day.